Wow, 1,000 subscribers. When I started this channel, I didn't even know if I would get 100 subscribers. I want to thank you all so much for this. So, I was thinking about what to do for this special, and at first I couldn't decide. Then I thought, well, I've never really properly introduced myself or told you anything about me. So for this special, I decided to tell you about how I came into the fandom and the story of my OC. The first thing you should know is that I grew up watching the old My Little Pony cartoons. The TV specials, the movie, the series, the next series. I watched them all and I loved them. I didn't like Ponytails as much as Pony and Friends, but I watched it anyway because it was ponies. Also, I watched a lot of it in reruns and they were shown back to back. Of course, I eventually grew out of it and I looked on the cartoons as fond memories. Then Generation 3 came out. At the time, I wasn't especially interested, but I was a little curious because it brought back memories of the shows I had loved as a kid. So I watched a cartoon or two. And I promptly decided that I would treasure my memories of the old cartoons and pretend like the new ones didn't exist. When I first heard that a fourth generation was coming out, I honestly wanted nothing to do with it. I felt like G3 had tainted my beloved childhood memories, and I figured this new show would be just as bad. I can pinpoint the exact day I changed my mind. It was the day the episode The Stairmaster premiered. By chance, I just happened to be in a house where a kid was watching the newest episode of Friendship is Magic, and I wound up seeing it. I was so impressed with this new imagining of the ponies. Coming into that episode, of course, I didn't know who any of the characters were. I didn't know the importance of the Cutie Mark Crusader's quest. I didn't know how Fluttershy struggled in frightening situations. And Twilight was such a minor presence in that episode that I didn't know she was the lead character. But none of that mattered. The show had entertaining, engaging characters. It had conflicts. Multiple layers of conflict, with Fluttershy struggling against the Crusaders, the cockatrice, and her own fears. It had actual stakes, demonstrated when we saw a pony turned to stone. It had funny parts. It had a song that was actually good. No matter how much I love G1, I can't deny that it would have been better without the songs. This one episode sparked my interest, and I spent the next week or so watching the previous Season 1 episodes online. It took me a long time to get involved with the online community. With other fandoms I've been a part of, like Harry Potter and Avatar: The Last Airbender, I had friends and family members who were also interested. So I would talk with them about speculations and characters and things. In the case of MLP, however, none of my friends are into the show, so I found myself without anyone to discuss it with. So naturally, I turned to the online community. For a long time, I could be best described as a lurker. I liked reading reviews, watching analysis videos, checking out TV tropes. I didn't contribute much to the discussions, though. It's only been over the past couple years that I've gotten more active. I started commenting and sharing a lot more. I made an OC and started this channel. Speaking of which, I would like to tell you about my OC, Calliope. The name comes from Greek mythology. The Muses were the 9 goddesses of science and art, and people would pray to them to be granted inspiration. Calliope was the muse who presided over epic poems. In other words, big, long stories. The cutie mark is related. My mark is a laurel wreath. The laurel wreath has a few different meanings, but in general it's an emblem of achievement in various fields such as warfare, athleticism, and art. Because of this, it's often associated with the Muses. My OC is a unicorn who lives in Ponyville, and her special talent is storytelling, hence the muse theme to the name and cutie mark. She can use her magic to make images and sounds to enhance the stories she tells. She works at a daycare center where she is good at keeping the little colts and fillies entertained. She also volunteers for local theater, where she helps with special effects and sometimes acts as narrator for plays. So that's just a little bit about how I got into the fandom and came up with my OC. I really can't thank you all enough for the attention my videos have gotten. Honestly, I never thought my channel would get much attention at all. Thank you all so much, and I will see you later.